All right. I think we're about ready to jump off here. You think you're ready? Okay. This is an interview with Senator Johnnie E. Walls Jr. for the Jackson State University Robert Clark Era Oral History Project by Emanuel J. Abston. Senator Wall is in his large dining room at his home, and he is a resident of Greenville, Mississippi, and the time is 5:15. Good afternoon, Senator Wall. Senator Wall, early in life, did you prepare yourself for a career? Early? Yes. When you were 18, 19, did you go on to college?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
I graduated from high school in Clarksdale, and I received a scholarship, an academic scholarship, to go to Jackson State, where I went to Jackson State. And I majored in biology, minored in chemistry, and I graduated from Jackson State and went to University of Mississippi School of Law.
Did they recruit you heavily, or did you have other great offers to go to law school?
Well, I didn't have they recruited me from law school,
okay.
Yes, but I didn't have any other offers to go to law school. I really wanted, at that time, I wanted to go to medical school.
Okay.
And I did apply to University of Mississippi Medical School, and they did not accept me, but the law school did.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't apply to any other medical school. I was planning to, but after I was accepted at the law school, I decided to go to law school, because right after I graduated, I was kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do.
Oh, okay.
And I was offered a job to teach science in Cleveland.
I see.
And I didn't really want to teach at that point, so I applied for law. I went to apply for law school, and
yes,
I went
and
to law
it's
school.
panned out for you.
Yeah.
When did you become interested in being a Mississippi legislator?
Oh, that came in the early 1990s. I had been involved in several reapportionment lawsuits involving members of the county boards of supervisors. I've been involved with Frank Parker and some other people in Jackson and the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under Law in the legislative reapportionment actions that were filed, trying to get black people in positions around the state. And when the lawsuit, which resulted in the redrawing of the lines and opened up the new districts, my district turned out to be one of those districts that opened up here in Washington County. So I decided to run. In fact, a lot of people came to me and said, "Well, you've been out there filing these lawsuits. Now you got a district you need to run for it." Mm-hmm. And so I did run. I really hadn't planned to do it when I started off as a lawyer filing those lawsuits and being involved in those lawsuits.
Let me just ask in this regard, how many years were you a practicing attorney before you cast your fate for being
I started practicing in 1971 as a legal services lawyer in Greenwood.
Okay.
And I went into private practice in 1974. So I had been practicing about 20 years.
So you in private practice, or you joined a law firm?
Well, I'm in private practice now. I went into private practice first after leaving legal services in 1974, and I worked with some other lawyers here in this area, Vic McTeer, Robert Buck, Tyree Irvin, who's now Court of Appeals judge. And, I work with a lot of different lawyers in this area. So, but the four of us, Willie Bailey is another who represented Willie Bailey. We started a law firm here in Greenville. Yeah.
So now the work with the legal services and the like, did that sort of ground you into maybe politics, or did it ground you, as far as you can see at this point, into being wanted to go into private practice?
Well, the work at legal services kind of grounded me for both of them, but more so for the politics than it did the private practice, because legal services lawyers really work as public servants, as activists, so to speak. And one of the things as a legal services lawyer that I get involved in was community activism. And when I moved here to go into private practice, but then I got very active in the Democratic Party process, the caucuses, and when Jimmy Carter ran for president, for instance, I got involved in the local caucuses, and I ultimately was elected chairman of the county convention, and then ultimately chairman of the Washington County Democratic Party, and then the state party.
All right, so now I'm not so familiar with the demographics of this county, Washington County. Now, would you simply say that it's about 50-50 white, black, or is it far more whites?
It's a little bit more black.
It is?
Washington County is about between 60 and 64% or 65% black. At the time I moved here, though Washington County enjoyed a majority of black people, the elected officials were practically white. It was hard to get anybody black elected. We only had two black elected officials here in Washington County when I moved here, and that was in '74. We had Sarah Johnson, who was on the city council at the time, and she was the only black person on the Greenville City Council. And there was a countywide official who was Mr. Turner, who was a constable. Now there was some other black people in some of the other more majority municipalities like Hollandale.
Okay.
Mr. Sanders and T.R. Sanders was on the Board of Aldermen down there, I believe, and there was some people maybe serving on the Board of Aldermen in Arcola, but those towns were overwhelmingly black. But we had no people holding any positions of like mayors or supervisors, election commissioners, people like that, and we had none of those when I moved here.
So, as we would say, Senator Kurtz had done his homework very well in seeing that this lawsuit be brought about in what year was that? Was that the early 70s?
That was the early 70s. Let me see if I can remember exactly.
Yes.
Because, we filed one, the congressional reapportionment lawsuit. Well, I was the first one to file that lawsuit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was working with Frank Parker with the Lawyers Committee, and I filed the initial lawsuit that became Jordan versus who was the governor's name at that time?
In 72?
Winter, yeah.
Before that, it was Waller.
Waller, okay.
Waller went out in 76.
But see, we filed two lawsuits.
Okay.
I filed one here in Greenville, was filed by me.
Okay.
It was Owen Brooks versus Waller.
Okay.
And around the same time, Alvin Chambliss filed Jordan versus Waller. And I think Alvin filed that either in Oxford or he may have filed it in Greenville too. But what happened was, because both lawsuits raised the same issues about the congressional reapportionment, they were consolidated.
Okay.
And I guess Jordan's name became the first one on the list, and that was a lawsuit. Growing out of that lawsuit was a redrawing of the congressional districts, and the second congressional district that gave a black person an opportunity to run, and that's when Robert Clark ran, because he was the first one to run.
Right, 68 was when he won. But he
no, I'm talking about for the congressional races.
Oh, you're talking about 84.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
84. Okay, 1984. I'm sorry. You're right. Okay. But that's the spinoff.
Yeah,
okay,
that's the spinoff from that.
Oh, okay.
But the one where he was able to run for for the legislature.
Yes.
I wasn't involved in that. I was
Voting Rights Act.
Yeah, I was
the
in
end result of that.
I was in either college or
young
or
yes,
early.
yes.
I think that was before I went to law school.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now. Right. All right. So now, how long was that in the courts, though? That lawsuit.
That lawsuit. That was
that 2-year resolution? How much?
Well, let me see. I'm trying to remember now. It was about 3 or 4. That lawsuit took about 3 years or longer. Robert ran. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think now. He ran a couple of terms before Espy. I'm not good at remembering dates.
I understand.
I remember the events. I just don't remember all the dates. But he was. Everybody thought at that time when the court ruled and the districts were drawn that if a black person ran at that time, it should be Robert Clark because he had so much.
Yes. He had persevered, and it was his option to do it. At least the blacks would line up on name recognition,
and because he was the man out front. Then he was.
Yes.
Everybody looked upon him as being, I guess, the leader at that point, the leading black politician in the state.
That's right. That is right. So now, when did you first meet Robert Clark? I mean, politically, whatever. You see, you're a youngster and come along. Not youngster, but you understand.
Well, at that time he was. I considered him older. He wasn't that much older, but I considered him. I guess I met Robert Clark. I think I first met him through my ex-wife's family. After I graduated from law school, or while I was in law school, I married a young lady from Holmes County that lived in Ebenezer.
Oh, right.
And when I used to go there from Jackson, from Ole Miss Law School, and I knew that Robert Clark lived in the area.
Yes.
And it was just natural that he lived in the Ebenezer area and they lived in Ebenezer.
Yes.
It was just natural that I was going to run into him.
I see. Yes.
And I don't know exactly when it was the first time I actually ran into him and actually met him, but it was during that time when I graduated from law school, I started working at legal services in Greenwood, and I used to commute. I used to drive from Pickens, where my wife's family was living then, to Greenwood every day. And Robert Clark would be in and around the area. And then ultimately he started sending people over there to see me as a lawyer.
Yes.
And I started going to meetings in Holmes County.
Yes.
Political meetings and other things during that time, and he would be present at some of those.
Yes.
So that's how I got to know him, and he was viewed then in Holmes County as in the vernacular as the man.
Yes. Now
he was the man in charge.
That early, what kind of personality did he have in your estimation at that point, when your initial impact, your recollection at that point, what kind of personality did he have in, public personality? Public as well as private.
His public personality was that of a very likable, very forceful, and friendly kind of guy. He was like everybody's coach.
Oh, okay.
He was a coach.
He was a coach.
And my wife at the time, she and her sisters, they all looked up to him. Oh, that's Mr. Clark,
Yes.
That Representative Clark.
Yes.
He used to coach at our school.
Yes.
And all the teachers, because he was very big in it was the Mississippi Teachers Association then.
Yes.
And he was very big in that. So everywhere you went, the educators and and the students, and particularly the younger athletes, knew Robert Clark. And since I was in Holmes County, working in Holmes County, I got to know him from afar, just like everybody else did. And then I had a chance to meet him firsthand because as a lawyer, I had reasons to talk to him, and he would send clients, and I'd have reason to talk to them, and ultimately, I would go to community meetings, so we just got to the point where we knew each other.
Now, would you say that he interested you in politics to run for office, or was it much later on that you said, well, I need a base of support, let me realign myself, whatever?
Well, not at that time, because I really didn't have the political aspirations at that time. What I had was the aspirations of changing Mississippi, because I had grown up and watched how discrimination had effect on people, had an effect on me. Watched how police officers treated my dad and other people. And watched how young black men in my community had gone to prison for reasons which I thought just didn't make sense. And watched how white people just walked over us. White men would just come in and go into people's houses and do what they wanted to do. I had grown up watching all of that. And I had in my mind, when I went to law school, I was going to use my law degree to correct some of those things. And Robert Clark, being the person he was, he kind of stood out because he was a person that had kind of confronted all of this by being in the legislature. And I didn't really know the extent to which he had confronted it and how much he had done. I just know that whenever I went into place and his name would come up, people would be very respectful because he was the first person to have the nerve to go into that arena
and then
stay there.
What about this concept of him being a gentleman farmer? Now he has land holdings and this kind of thing. Now you think that should I say reinforce his image because he had what you might say property wealth? Or is it that his personality, him being a coach, trained as an educator, was that a blend? It had no bearing on.
I think it was a blend. See, because now you know in Holmes County, Holmes County at the time was recognized as an area where a lot of black people own land. And Mr. Clark was just like that was like a success story for people that knew him. You know, he was a man that had his hands in the earth, yet he was concerned about the people, and he was an educator, and he moved around in a lot of different circles. And he was just somebody to look up to. You know, I used to hear my wife's father talk about how he grew his hogs and he liked dogs and he liked to hunt and all that stuff. So I had heard things. I had heard things about him, and because he was that kind of person, you know, black folks just kind of gravitated to him. He was like a natural
role man,
a natural role model, to look at. And plus he had a good image. He had an excellent image.
All right, now let me go on with my focus to some degree and try to capture your ascendancy to some degree. Now, you are saying that you initially ran for the state legislature in the 80s.
And it was 1992.
Oh, it was 92?
Yeah, because I took office in 93.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 1992.
Okay. Now, all right, you ran as a Democrat. Were there any independents running against you?
No.
Okay.
When I ran, there were two other people in the race.
Okay.
Am I right now? Mr. Arthur Payton. We ran in the primary.
Okay.
Arthur Payton, who was a long-time educator in Greenville, Washington County. and the other one person was Ed Jackson. Ed Jackson was a legislator who had, let's see, if I'm not mistaken, that's right. Well, I'm trying to remember.
Now, these were your opponents in the Democratic Party.
In the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm almost sure I'm right. I'm trying to remember that. But it was Democratic Party primary, and I won by beating both of them.
Okay.
Without having to run without a runoff.
So you had 75% of the vote.
No, all I needed was 50.
Okay.
50% plus one.
Yeah, plus
50% plus one. And I had enough to avoid a runoff.
All right. Now, do you recall at the initial election whether or not you were pitted against a strong Republican?
No, I never have had a Republican at all.
Oh.
That's the only race that I've had that was contested. All the rest of my races have been uncontested.
Oh, okay. All right. So, do you recall what the issues were in '92 for the most part, the major issues that you ran on to get elected, and as a youngster coming up against these, I would say, well-grounded men already?
Well, it was. I guess my campaign focused really mostly on who would provide the best representation in a newly created district. We all talked about the education. We all talked about the economic development.
Okay.
We all talked about the normal things, but education was one of the forefronts, the foremost things discussed, and economic development in the Delta, and who would provide the best representation. And my position was that I had been a practicing lawyer. I've been out there working hard for legal services and in the quasi-civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. And I thought that I could provide something for black folks that black folks had not had in the Delta. Mm-hmm. Okay. There had been, and that district had been held by, it was a combination really now because they had redrawn the lines. It had been held by Nevin Sledge from Cleveland, who was a white man, and Robert Monty was the immediate person that held a position here in Washington County before he had held. His district had been combined. He was a senator before, but his district had been combined with another senator who, and his district was kind of wiped out, mm-hmm. and in a sense that it became heavily black, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and he chose not to run, and he had been put in the other district, mm-hmm. which was south of here, mm-hmm. which Hannah Miller had at the time, and it was more white. Okay. And at that time, I think he did run against Hannah, I believe, but Hannah beat him, mm-hmm. and then he ran again after Hannah Miller. I think Hannah Miller died, and he ran after that, and lost, I believe. I'm trying to remember. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's how
economic development, developing the Delta, jobs.
Yeah, jobs. Talked about jobs. Yeah.
Did you attempt to help your case to some degree? Of course, you were popular to some degree, but my question is, were any national leaders summoned to Mississippi to help you out in your campaign? Or did you use the muscle there?
No, I didn't,
none whatsoever.
I didn't do that.
Okay.
Because I was really somewhat in a strange position. When I ran with Mr. Payton in the race, there was just a lot of black folks just didn't want to get involved in it because the two of us were in it. Mm-hmm. And he was well known as an educator. I was well known as a lawyer, mm-hmm. and kind of an upstart. Mm-hmm. And And it was a Democratic Party fight, so to speak. So all of those people that kind of bowed out didn't want to be involved in a fight, in a family fight with Democrats.
Okay.
so that's
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that kind of backing.
Right.
I had it, but I didn't have it publicly.
Okay.
I didn't. But people like Senator Kirksey and Owen Brooks and all those people supported me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had worked with all of them in the past in reapportionment and everything else you name. We had all worked together, and I had that kind of support. The local leadership support, I had most of that. Yeah.
So Senator Kirksey made his debut in Mississippi politics for the most part in the late 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why do you think that he decided to abandon politics and maybe fight the system from the outside? Any notions on that, or any inclination?
Mm-hmm.
What is your read on that? Now, here again, he could have maybe gotten reelected as senator for.
He would have been reelected for as long as he wanted to be there.
So now, what is your take on that?
I knew Senator Kirksey personally. I worked with him.
Okay.
I just sat around and talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
I just been with him a lot.
Yes.
I respected him a whole lot. Senator Kirksey was more of a pure thinking person. I mean, he didn't like this gamesmanship that's involved in politics.
That too. Yes.
That's involved in electoral politics.
Mm-hmm.
He felt that his calling was to carry us to where we really ought to be.
Yes.
His first calling as a map maker, he put it, was to create districts, allow people the opportunity.
Let me hold and flip this over one time, please. You were saying,
yeah. His calling was to, I think, as he saw it, was to create the opportunities for black people to be represented by themselves and by others who would truly represent them. And he just wasn't. He wasn't.
Put it on pause. Okay. I'm sorry.
Senator Kirksey didn't seem to be. He didn't seem to care too much for the how do you put it?
Yeah, the trade-off and the compromises. And,
yeah.
And the snap. The political scene is like that. You scratch my back, and next time I have to scratch yours.
That's right. And Senator Kirksey was more like, you either right or you wrong.
Yes.
This needs to be done or it doesn't need to be done.
Yes.
And this, you either violating the Constitution or you're not.
Yes.
And he was, for instance, he raised the whole question early on about legislators serving and elected people serving on boards and commissions. He felt that was a violation of the Constitution. It was a violation of separation of powers, and he was right.
Mm-hmm.
And he fought it, and he finally got people to start seeing it. People later than Senator Kirksey started seeing it, but he talked about it long before anybody would raise it in Mississippi. But he did. And so I think really when he left the Senate and ran for the lieutenant governor's position against Brad Dye, and he ran as an independent, I think, and Eddie Briggs won that race. A lot of people said Senator Kirksey was a spoiler, but for the Democrat. But in his mind, I don't think that's the way he saw it at all. I mean, as he saw it, it's just, he didn't see any difference between a Democrat and a Republican if they were not carrying out the dictates of the Constitution. And there were just a lot of things that were wrong in state government, and being on a commission and being in the Senate, if you couldn't affect some real change, didn't mean a whole lot to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now, was this Brad Dye's first race, or was he was incumbent?
No, he was incumbent.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking. And we're talking about what year? What election is this? Is this
that was
84 or 82?
That had to be. That had to be. That had to be 80. Wait a minute. Eddie Bridge was, in fact, the lieutenant governor when I went to the legislature.
Okay.
So it was a year before. We ran the governor's race was in, and the lieutenant governor's race was in 91. Because they took office in 92. We had to have a new election for the legislatures because of the court order in 92. And we took office in 93.
So I'm a decade off.
Yeah, my first year in the Senate was like the second real year of the 4-year term.
Okay.
My first term I only served 3 years because the first year was under the old system.
Okay.
The election was held that first year of the 4-year term. So I didn't take office until the next year, which would have left 3 years in the 4-year term.
Okay.
So I took office in 93.
Okay.
See, that's how that.
I see.
Does it make sense?
Well, yeah, you explaining it.
Yeah.
You explaining it.
Yeah.
And
Kirksey had run. He had left the legislature earlier than that, but he ran for lieutenant governor in that year.
Yes.
And I think it was either 1990 or 91.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I don't know if he ran early before. I can't remember whether he ran.
That was his only statewide move, though, wasn't it?
I think
He didn't run again for nothing else.
I don't think so. I think that was it.
Right.
I think that was it, if I remember correctly.
Now,
see, because Senator Hardin took his spot.
Yeah.
When he chose not to run again, Senator Hardin ran.
Okay.
And took his spot.
All right. Okay. All right. Here again, I'm having to rethink this. I used to teach Mississippi history, and here again, I've been away from it for about 15 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of comes back to me little by little.
Can you let me answer?
Sure. Sure. Go ahead. I can't bother them. I just a minute.
Okay. Hello? Hey. Well, I was in the midst of an interview. I can call you back later. Is there anything that's happening? Oh, okay. Well, I'll call you back when I finish with my interview. And if you somewhere near a fax machine, you can fax it to me. Oh, okay. Well, then we can wait, and I'll get it later. But I'll let you read it to me. But I'll call you back. All right, then. All right.
Senator Wall, let me go back to Robert Clark's legacy again and ask you some pointed questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Could you comment upon his record as far as support for compulsory school attendance?
I really don't know the details of it.
Okay.
I know that that from my take is he had to be for it.
Yes.
Robert Clark was an educator, and he could tell the need for such legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of historically we all know that was laws were changed to allow white kids to stay out of school so they wouldn't have to go to public schools. Yeah, that's my view of it.
Yes.
But Robert Clark was a very strong educational proponent.
Yes.
And compulsory education would be something that he would have been strongly for.
And here again, him being a teacher, certainly he was an advocate for teacher pay consistently to try to get teachers' representative be paid, as well as trying to bring it up to sort of southeast average and the like.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question here. Do you know about his record as far as helping HBCUs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I know that he was very actively supportive of it.
Okay.
And in his position at that time, he could always be out front.
Yes.
With it, and as I recall, Robert Clark was always in favor of trying to do as much for the historically black universities and colleges as he could.
Yes, even the elevation by Waller to all historical black schools being with university status, along with the several whites that Delta State got in the equation, as well as Mississippi University for women. They got, should I say, university status also.
Yeah.
And so
see that I don't know the details of that legislation, but that came along at a time when there was a push to make the black universities, especially Jackson State, because it was in a position to become a university.
Yes, urban.
And the urban university, and I just think that it was only logical that Robert and other people would push for that.
Yes.
And being in the legislature since that time, I can see how compromise was made to make all of them universities.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing that white Mississippians will do.
Yes, and so let me carry that a little further. Now, in the air settlement and the like, do you think that these three presidents, be it Jackson State University's president, Alcorn State's, and Valley's president, do you think that they were, to some degree, forced to accept this deal, or you think that this was the best offer that the state of Mississippi would try to?
My personal opinion?
Your personal opinion.
My personal opinion is that they were probably forced. I don't think this was the absolute best that Mississippi could have gotten. Could have done for them. I don't think so. Since I've been in the legislature, I've just seen some things that indicate to me that the powers don't want to see true equity. Because true equity will probably propel Jackson State in a much bigger role than it currently has, even though it has a much bigger role now than it has had in the past. And perhaps Alcorn would be the same. Valley would be propelled a little bit further than it is now. Either they would have gotten rid of it, but they just couldn't, in good faith, get rid of it.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they could do that. But I've just seen, from my vantage point, I've seen the pressure that could be placed on the presidents to not to be so forceful on their own for their own universities, but they should work in a group along with the other presidents of the other universities. See, I served on the college board for a year, so I had a chance to
that is true.
Kind of watch that.
What years was that?
Oh man, I knew you could ask me that. Let's see, that was in 80.
You didn't serve 12-year term, or was it 12?
No, I got the Senate would not confirm me because of my so-called radical civil rights lawyer background, and
you were nominated.
I was nominated by Mavis, Governor Mavis, and I served for a year. And now that I've been in the Senate, I know how that works. He nominated me at the end of the year, at the end of a session, and he nominated me after the legislative session was over. So I got a chance to serve the whole year.
Yes,
without being confirmed.
Yes.
And then they would have to confirm me before I could continue to serve.
Yes.
And then that's when they stepped in and would not confirm me. The Senate didn't. And the whole idea was that I was
unacceptable.
Yeah, I was unacceptable because I was going to be too much of a disruption for the board. And many of the senators who ultimately became my colleagues told me that they had really put my name out there as a with horns on my head, and particularly Senator Galat has told me many times. He said, "Man, before I met you," he said, "I thought you were a walking devil."
Yes.
He said, "I thought you had a horns on your head and a tail."
He admitted this to you privately.
He told me that several times. Yes. He said, "Man," but he said they told me sold me a bill of goods about you. He said, "But I have to tell you, they lied on you." Because I haven't been that way at all as a senator. You know, and I wasn't that way then, but I was very, much like Benny Thompson is now, very, very straightforward in what I had to say, and my position was my position, period. Yes. You know, all of us grew up under Kirksey.
Sure.
We were miniature Kirkseys. And people like Clark, Representative Clark.
That's right. Now, let me just have you recall maybe how you fared at the college board for that 1 year. Okay, you were a Mavis appointee, and I guess Mavis had the image of being a progressive and the like, and the like. So now, in other words, how did you?
Well, I can tell you.
Fare on the board. I
thought I did well.
Okay.
In fact, on the board, I was a proponent for all of the schools.
Okay.
I probably voted more to give things that Mississippi State needed. At that time, one of the big controversies we had while I was on the board was at elevating Mississippi State to the status of other land grant schools in the country. And the position I took was that our land grant school in Mississippi, even though historically Alcorn is really the land grant school, it's the oldest. My position then as a member of the board was that since Mississippi State is viewed as our land grant school, then it should be viewed in the same breath as North Carolina land grant school or South Carolina or anybody else's. And that was a position I took, and I voted for things for Mississippi State, made statements on behalf of Mississippi State for those, just like everybody else. You know, very forceful. You know, I was instrumental in one of the hiring of Dr. Clyde Rent, who became the one of the presidents at that time. I think she was MUW. She came in as the president of MUW at that time, and there were just other things. I supported Delta State. I supported things for Jackson State, Alcorn Valley. We didn't, the W particularly. I remember that we used to have the little old ladies at W would come and lobby us as board members. And I thought I fit in just like everybody else. We had to make decisions. We had to make tough decisions. I voted against some things. I voted for some things. And, you know, I just can't remember all of them now, but I participated. And I enjoyed it. I was going to really like that job, you know, because I thought it was a worthwhile job.
Now, wouldn't that be pretty much the same year, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the board decided to terminate Dr. Hefner?
No.
I'm wrong?
No.
That's not 92?
No, that came after I left.
Oh, that came after you left then. Yeah. But they were after him maybe for 2 years, though, weren't they?
Yeah, but I was a supporter of Dr. Hefner.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he and I were tight.
Oh,
I
okay.
liked him. I really did.
Right. Academic person
I really liked
him. And the like. But he left in 92, though.
Yeah.
He left in 92.
In 92. But see, I was on the board long before then. I was on the board in, it had to have been,
I think it was
80. When was Mavis Governor? I was on the board either in 80. It had to have been in 88.
There was Winter, Alain, and Mavis, right? They was followed each other like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Fordyce, because Fordyce beat Mavis. It was, but it was before I know Dr. Hefner was on it, because the reason I know that Dr. Hefner invited me to speak to Jackson State's convocation. It was a convocation I spoke at on Founders Day, I believe. And he brought me down.
Perhaps in 90 or 91?
I can't remember exactly the year,
sure.
But he brought me down. I flew down on the state plane. Mississippi State flew me down to Jackson. We were having a meeting at Mississippi State in Starville.
Okay.
They flew me down. I spoke at Jackson State. And then I left there, and Dr. Hefner had somebody to drive me back to Greenville. I remember vividly because he gave me a check from the Development Foundation.
Okay.
And I remember he and I talked about it. I called him up one night after that and said, Dr. Hefner, I thought about this. You give me a check. I said, college board members don't supposed to receive anything directly from the state of Mississippi, directly or indirectly for our service. And I said, I know that the rest of them do it. And I said, but because it's you and me, I don't want them to raise something against you.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to raise something against me. And he said, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
He said, I said, well, you can ask your lawyers if that works. And I said, well, why don't I do it? I called the Attorney General's office and talked to the lawyer who was assigned to the College Board, and at that time was a young black woman. And she told me, she said, you raised an interesting question. She said, nobody else has raised that. She said, but the other universities pay people all the time from the College Board to do things. She said, but I'm going to tell you the truth, since you and Dr. Hefner involved. She said, yes. I'm not telling you what to do. She said, but I think you probably got a correct assessment in what you're telling me, and what you're asking me. So I called him and said, Doc, what I want you to do with this check is donate it to the development fund or something.
That was timely.
And that's what he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you saved both, from embarrassment later on or whatever could have happened.
It may not have surfaced. Because it was accepted and not other people were doing it.
Well, I understand.
But I just knew from my history that they might try to use that against us because
both of them.
That hadn't happened before with us.
That's right. You've been a JSU graduate and you've been perhaps you were the first appointee, right?
No, at that time when I was appointed.
Oh, Harrison was on
there, but there was also Sidney Rushing.
Oh, I don't recall him.
Sidney Rushing was on there. He was a Mississippi Valley State grad.
Rushing.
From down on the coast.
Now he didn't serve along with Harrison, did he?
Yeah, he did.
He was.
He was there during the time Mr. Harrison was there.
Oh, okay.
And then, let's see, Sidney was there when I came in. They appointed James Levine and I at the same time. And then Joe Haynes took somebody's place.
Did Haynes serve out 12 years?
He didn't serve a 12-year term. He took somebody else's term.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember who that was.
Oh, okay.
They had a reunion.
Yes.
Back in recently. I should have gone, but my daughter had surgery that day and I didn't go.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I would have met all those folks and remembered all of those things.
Yes. Now, during your later years and the like as being senator, was there a substantial change made in the funding formula, as we would call it, with the universities? Has it always been, because Jackson State has a urban designation, it's supposed to be in between, or whatever, but it always get a little more money than Alcorn and Valley. So now, was there a change there that you can note? Was it that no change?
From my observation, there was a change. I wasn't really part of that change.
Okay.
If I had stayed there, I would have been.
Okay.
And I really do believe that was part of my not staying there.
Really?
I think it was one of the reasons why people fought me to keep me from being there during that time, because we were getting ready to do all of that then.
Okay.
But it does appear from watching it, that Jackson State somehow comes out a little bit ahead of Valley and Alcorn, but I don't know that I don't necessarily view that as a bad thing. What I view as a bad thing is that all three of them come out less than they do as compared to the others.
Yes,
and Jackson State is a larger, more comprehensive school than either Valley or Alcorn. It shouldn't be bigger than Alcorn, but it has over the years
because
become
of geography,
because of where it is.
Location.
It's become that. But so it didn't bother me if Jackson State came out a little bit ahead because it has more. I would think it should have more of a function in the state. And what they've tried to do on the college board is, I can see, is kind of give it a little bit more of a function on paper. And I think that's only right for them to do that because, like I said, because of where it is. And but they haven't gone nearly as far as I think they should go.
Town-gown relationship to some degree, and because of, like you're saying, location and luminance. But it seemed to me, and you can correct me, you can analyze this to some degree. Wouldn't you say that the Alcorn State University luminized a little more solidly behind the school than Jackson State? Would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
I do agree with that.
Oh, okay.
What I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, all right. Now you are in the legislature after '92. Now, my question is, did the so-called, did the Black Caucus, if I'm of you all now at that point, did you all really somewhat formulate any kind of legislative package exclusively for the legislature?
No.
Not really?
No, not really.
Not really?
No. I think that the way that has occurred since we have been there is that there have been some individual legislators to come up with certain things that need to be done. And then the rest of us would either buy into it. But we have tried to sit down and have what is viewed as a caucus legislative package.
Yes.
And we haven't been able to really bring that to where we'd like to see it for a number of reasons, I think. The main reason is that the caucus really didn't have a staff, so to speak, that could do that for them. We've come close to that with the foundation.
Yes.
And when Barbara Blackman took over as president of the foundation, she was able to raise a lot of money. And since that time, it's kind of started moving in the direction of having programs that are viewed as the caucus programs. But actually, technically and legally, the foundation is different from the caucus. It's really not supposed to be there to do individual legislation for members of the legislature, but economic development, or I mean educational development, I put it that way, is really the way the foundation operates. And out of that may come some legislation from people getting ideas from these various meetings that we had for educational purposes around the state. But if we had a staff, each one of us had staff members that worked for us, we had the funding to have somebody that could conduct research for us and sort of map out a legislative program, then we could do it. And it would probably happen. But it hasn't happened the way we would like to see it happen.
And just a follow-up question about this. With longevity or with extended tenure, you become, should I say, you get better appointments.
Yeah.
And so in looking back, what 2 or 3 appointments did you find yourself being pleased to serve on, or were you most productive with?
You mean in the legislature?
In the legislature, yeah, as a senator in the life you see. You were there for a few years.
Well, I haven't been. Well, see, my first.
Did you ever serve on a university, college and universities?
I'm on university and colleges now.
Okay.
Committed now. I've been chairman of Constitution, for instance.
Oh, okay.
And I've been chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I mean, not Judiciary. I mean, Juvenile Justice Committee in the Senate. But they eliminated that committee now and combined it with Judiciary, and now they've separated Judiciary and Judiciary A and Judiciary B. So I'm not the chairman of either one of those. I would have to say to you that I haven't, since the years I've been in there, the most rewarding position I had was serving on the peer committee, and probably chairman of juvenile justice, even though there was not a whole lot of legislation that came out of that, but I was able to work along pretty good with Representative Flagg, because he's been juvenile justice in the House for a while. And had I remained there, I think Flagg and I could have done more things. But they eliminated it. Amy Tuck eliminated that one. And I served in Constitution for a while, but you don't do a whole lot in Constitution. There's very little legislation that's offered to change the Constitution. And the rule of thumb is that you don't touch it as much. You don't touch it as much as, because you may open up a whole can of worms to do a lot more things that you don't want to do. So I didn't do a lot with the Constitution, and I wouldn't have had the votes to do a lot anyway. So I haven't gotten to the point of a chairmanship that I really feel that I could make some real changes with yet. Maybe one day I'll get one. But I haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't been there. I've served on some good committees. But to have the power to do it myself, I haven't enjoyed that. Well, there was one occasion during the Governor Fordyce's administration. Governor Fordyce, as you may remember, appointed 4 white men to the college board. I was on universities and colleges that year. The chairman of universities and colleges was Hillman Frazier. And at the beginning of that, when he was appointed, he had made me the subcommittee chair over confirmations. So I had to be the one to have the hearings to conduct the hearings on college board confirmations. And that year, Hillman, the governor, made those 4 white men appointments. Hillman had left and had to leave the country, and he left that kind of in my hands. And I had to, I guess people thought I was trying to pay him back for what had happened to me, but it really wasn't that at all. It was my position and the position of members on the board at the time, on the committee at the time, and Hillman had also put Senator Hardin on that committee, Senator Jordan on that committee, and there was also Senator Gray Ferris was on that committee, and a couple other white members. And we at the time felt that the governor had kind of slapped everybody in the face by picking 4 white men in the face of white women, black men and women, to the college board, and he looked like he was taking it back, and those appointments were going to affect the
12 years.
Future for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I just took the position that I just couldn't let that happen. And we told the governor that. And we had a big fight over that. But ultimately, we rejected all his nominees. And he came back with some new ones.
McGee, for instance?
No, McGee wasn't caught up in that one. I don't think he was now.
Okay.
Because McGee,
That's his second term then.
let's see.
4 days. In other words,
No,
I thought McGee was in
I
that
don't know. McGee
reconcilement.
Yeah, McGee was in that.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, he was in that. You're right. You're right. He was in that.
Okay.
But that's when he came back.
But he was the only one though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the only one in that. But at least he appointed 2 women, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He appointed a guy named Clum from Mississippi State,
Mm-hmm.
and he appointed McGee, and there were 2 women. I just can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
No, 1 woman, but he made some appointments to the junior college board.
Oh, okay.
That were women.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, he changed it. It was no longer 4 white men, and we felt we could live with what he had done then.
But you forced his hand, and he had to go back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't tell him to get rid of all of them. We didn't tell him that we didn't tell him who to pick.
Yeah.
We just said we're not gonna let you put 4 white men on the board, and we're just not gonna let you. And we're not gonna pass judgment on either one that you put up here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't about them. This is about you.
Yeah.
And so he chose to withdraw all of their names and put up some new names.
Okay.
And I guess they figured legally he couldn't put the names up. I don't see why he couldn't put the, but he didn't want to choose. Yeah. He didn't want to choose among the 4 he had already picked.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I think he felt like that would be bad for him to do.
Yeah.
But and he had 4 Cracker Jacks now. They were business people and they had credentials.
Yes.
But it was just
wrong.
It wasn't that time.
It wasn't that time.
I kind of
you saw the big picture.
That fool accused me of being a racist that day.
Yes.
Pointed his finger in my face.
Yes.
Being a racist.
Now, how involved is the university college committee in appointing, what do you call it, Commissioner of Higher Education? The board, they are free to do what they want to do, or is it that the university and college committee have anything to do with that?
Well, I don't really. The committee itself.
Yes.
You mean in the Senate?
Yes.
Well, the Senate can only confirm that person.
So in other words, no politics involved in that. The board has the, unilateral right to nominate or employ the commissioner. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you all play a role of confirmation only.
Yeah.
By
Now, do we confirm the commissioner? I'm trying to think.
Well, that's why I'm wondering whether or not that person is a freebie. He has a free ride from the college board.
No, let me. I might need to look at the law on that.
Okay.
I thought the governor appointed the commissioner.
Oh, okay. He's appointed by the governor rather than appointed by the board.
Well, let me tell you this. I know that the college board under our law is like an independent body.
Yeah.
Once that board is appointed and confirmed, that board is not controlled by anybody.
That's right.
That board can make its decision independent of the legislature, the governor, anybody else.
And so that's the reason why I was thinking
it's a constitutionally autonomous board.
I was thinking that they could also employ the commissioner just like they employ presidents. But I could, that's my question to you.
I think that's right. I think that's right because I do not remember. Man, I hate to say I don't remember this, but I just don't.
Okay.
Of us confirming a commissioner.
Oh, okay.
Now I could be wrong.
Okay.
We have to confirm all of the governor's appointments.
Mm-hmm.
And the universities and colleges president, a commissioner would have to be, the commissioner of the institutions of higher learning would have to be appointed by the governor, I would think, or I just don't. I need to ask my friend.
He knows.
No, I'm talking about Santa Hardin.
Oh.
I know she. If she would know.
She would know
quicker than I should know. It's been a while since I looked at it. But see, we had when I was on the college board, I did an extensive historical study of this college board. In fact, they gave it to us to read. And I know right after Bilbo was governor, they went through a big fight over whether to make the boards an autonomous body, constitutionally set up to run the colleges and universities, and to make it independent of the governor, to take it out of politics. And the only thing that the governor could do would be appoint his members. And to that extent, the governor may have some control, and that was why the terms were so long, so they would outlive any governor. You know,
there's always been 12 years.
It hasn't always been 12 years, but it's been 12 years
for a long time.
And recently we tried to change it. I wasn't in favor of changing it. I don't mind the 12 years. But tell me she's not in here.
Oh, she's at some luncheon, not a banquet maybe, or whatever. It's a busy time of the year.
I don't have a name in here.
She's parallel to you anyway, right? In the chamber, and she parallel with you?
Yeah, she was sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
She was one of the people that stood up for me when I was on the college board and they wouldn't confirm me. She was working real hard to help me get confirmed. See, she's been in the legislature about 3-4 years longer than I have. I met her during the time when she was a fiery president of MAE.
Yes.
No, I haven't really.
I'm going to sort of tape off here. I know I've kept you a long time here, but I'm going to have it. You ask me answer 2 more questions for me, please.
I get that answer.
Okay. Senator Wall, have there been any appointments to special task forces, commissions, or advisory committees that you can readily recall? Any commission, special task force you served on since '92 that you would like to comment on at this point?
Not really. I'm hoping to get on the. They put me on a tort claims board once. I didn't do a whole lot, and I'm hoping that the governor will put me on this Delta Commission, Lieutenant Governor.
Now, explain that Delta Commission. Do I know what that is?
We passed a bill this session to set up a Delta Planning Commission.
Okay.
And basically, that commission is to try to come up with ways to move the Delta forward in economic development, education, just about every aspect of life in the Delta. All of the studies tend to tell us what's wrong with the Delta and what can be done.
Yeah.
So this commission is set up to do some of those things that can be done. And we introduced that legislation this past session and passed it.
Okay.
And it was kind of grew out of Katrina, really, to do for the Delta the kinds of things that are being done on the coast. You know, in the aftermath of Katrina. We're trying to do that here in the Delta.
So it would have maybe the potential impact of the economic development. That's not a board. That's an independent agency also, isn't it?
No, it would be just a commission set up by them.
This is a private, isn't it?
No, it's only. There may be some private people appointed to it to serve on it, but it's primarily it's going to be 4 House members, 4 Senate members. People from the Department of Education, people from the Department of Economic Development, people from the College Board, Junior College Board. All that's they're supposed to put together a plan, a comprehensive plan for impacting the growth of the Delta. And
it's obvious that they have to have some black representation.
Oh yeah,
and so you're the logical choice, Senator.
Well, yeah, I would like to be on it, but there's so many. Well, you got Senator Jackson, and you got Senator Simmons, and you got Senator Jordan. All of us in the Delta now. So
Senator Jordan outrank you as far as seniority?
We went at the same time.
I thought so.
We were elected at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Simmons, all of us were.
Okay.
Jackson is a young boy. He just got elected. He's been there going on his first term.
The man from Meridian, who is
Charles Young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, was he in your class?
No, he's one of the first. He's along with. He came back. He's in that class right after Robert Clark.
Oh, okay.
I think the class after Robert Clark, the ones that were elected were Blackman, Young, Charles Young. We named the foundation for Charles Young. He's one of the founders of the Blackman, Young, and Ellis. Well, in that group together, Isaiah Fredericks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's been there quite a while. Ed Blackman he's a younger guy, but he's one of the older ones.
Yeah, he came in 80 for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I see. All right. Another question. I contend that Robert Clark is the most influential African American politician in 20th century Mississippi politics, Senator Wall. Do you agree with that or not? Robert Clark being the most influential African American in 20th century Mississippi politics.
I think you are pretty close to right about that. And the only reason I would have any reservations in saying that would be after I got involved. I know that Kirksey had a great effect, but Kirksey is not viewed as a politician. So, in terms of pure politics, Robert Clark will be ahead of Kirksey. I learned that people like David Green would have been, because David has been there in the legislature for a while, Ellis, all of those. But when you look at the fact that Robert was the first member in the legislature, when you look at the fact that everything politically for black people kind of started with Robert Clark, I have to agree that Robert Clark is the man. Is probably the most influential black person in 20th century politics in Mississippi.
Yes.
I'd have to say you're right. When you analyze all of the factors, he has to be it. He was the first one to be considered to have any chance at running for Congress.
Yeah.
Black.
Speaker pro tem.
Yeah. He was
worked himself up to being favorite.
I'm gonna tell you how much I appreciated Robert Clark being a young radical. When Fordyce was elected, I think you may remember this. Fordyce came out with a plan, and we just thought it was just offensive to black folks. And that year, Fordyce did his State of the State address, and the black members of the caucus boycotted his speech. Robert Clark, being a speaker pro tem, walked out of the legislative session. I mean, out of the joint session, along with the rest of us. And I thought it took pure guts for him to do that, being the speaker pro tem.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun for us.
Yeah.
It was
symbolic.
It was symbolic for us, but it could have been detrimental for him, because he was in a position where, you know, people could have said all kinds of things, and the speaker could have tried to figure out a way to take that away from him. But because of his status, and because of the fact that so many people say, you know, this guy that's risen to this stage, he's not going to risk his political capital, so to speak, to do something like that.
Not so.
He was our leader, and we appreciate it because he made us feel better for doing it, and made us feel like our concerns were legitimate. And he'll never know how much I appreciate him doing that.
Senator Wall, are there any unsolicited comments you'd like to make? I've asked you a lot of questions and had you comment on.
I will tell you something. When the other day, they were introducing the new director for the Foundation of the Mid-South, Mace, over here at Mace. The new president of the board, a young woman from Greenville, and Representative Clark is on the board. And just as they were ending the reception, they asked John Hines and I to come up and talk a little bit about the commission that I just told you about. And I was up making a comment, and I made a comment that the Mississippi Delta is the way it is because the Mississippi farmers and white power structure, when I was a child, made it this way by design. By design, they prevented highways from coming through the Delta, and by design, they prevented factories from coming to the Delta. And that's why all of us had to catch the first thing smoking and go to Chicago to get a job. And Robert Clark, sitting right over there, right about 10 feet from me, got up and walked over and said to me, he said, "You know, I'm glad you said that." He said, "Because when I've heard people make comments in the legislature about that very thing." And he said, "I can attest to the fact that they purposefully stopped highways from coming through the Delta." He said they would never 4-lane highway 61. And he said, "I've heard people say that in the legislature." And so again, I said to myself, you know, Robert Clark is doing the same thing he's always done.
Been consistent.
He's been consistent. He's bringing things to us that we need to know, and he's been our leader.
Thank you, Senator Wall, for agreeing to be interviewed at this point. Have a nice evening.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad I could help say anything good about Robert.
Yes.